mostly to get an idea of what you guys are thinking about doing in spatial or what you're already doing in spatial. And yeah, so if you guys want to just create notes and say in as much detail as possible what you're doing in spatial or your, dream use case. Let's say you're doing education, what specifically, is it K through 12? Is it universities? Is it, online learning? Is it English as a second language? All sorts of, as much detail as possible. And pro tip, a lot faster than typing, if you go to your settings and mute yourself first, and then go to content, add note. And when you add the note, you're going to see a little microphone icon next to done. And so hit the microphone, and then you can do speech to text without talking over each other. And anything that you say will be recorded on the note. And so you'll be able to actually add a lot of content quickly. For those of you who are in AR, it might be a little easier, but you can also just type from the web app if you wanted to, and we can grab them off and put them on the wall. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Patrick. Hey.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, T. Reset. Clear. Good.
You have to just start to make a new note if you want to edit it. So we are actually, Aaron said that we're going to be adding things to talking about the roadmap, but I'll just a little bit about the notes. We're going to be doing a lot of updates to the notes as far as being able to go back and edit your notes, to be able to highlight certain words in your notes, to change the color of the note. Hey, Aaron, you want to pin the big orange?
Yeah, I literally did that as you asked me.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
I'm trying to readjust my room.
All right. I'm gonna go. It seems like there might be one person in the other room, so I'm gonna pop over there and just connect with them. And as you guys create your notes, just go ahead and
over here. Or
yeah, and put them on the orange board. And I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go jump into that room. Oh, I think they got my message actually.
So you see how Aaron said like how you're using spatial now versus how you're thinking about using spatial. If you want to add two notes of like how you've already been meeting in spatial, so what types of meetings are you having, what etc., and what you are thinking about doing in the future. So it's kind of two different scenarios: what you're already doing today and what you're planning on doing.
How do I join a meeting through Zoom like you have?
So I'm just on the web app, and so this isn't like a Zoom. It's if you actually look in the bottom left-hand corner of the web app, there's a little microphone and there's a video, and I turned on my video so that I could join this way.
Bree, it looks like I'm looking around the room, and it looks like everyone was wearing a black shirt when they took the photo of their avatar, because there are a lot of black t-shirts in the room at the moment.
Yeah, I do think that we should maybe like randomize shirt colors just for a little bit more style and flipper.
Totally.
You had somebody there that was wearing
SDK.
Oh, so sorry. Say
Is
that again.
there an SDK?
No, we don't have an SDK right now, or an API. That's something that might come in the next year or so, but currently is not prioritized on our roadmap.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the Zoom, not at the app on the website, and it says that only one video feed is allowed at a time.
Yes, so that's
can you only have one person dialing in this way?
So you can talk, but only one person can be sharing their video at a time, and that's a temporary limit. We're going to be in our next release. You're going to be able to have more than one person. There was just a bug with that, so we added the limit.
Okay. What will there be a new limit?
It's a great question, actually. I'm not sure. Aaron, do you know?
Well, our thinking is actually to have a panel of a bunch of webcams. So in theory, 9, 10 people could all share their webcam at the same time. So you may have just said that, Bree. I was uploading images. I don't know how many we'll be able to host in that panel, but we'll know soon. We're kind of prototyping it at the moment. So if you join our Slack community, where we're usually updating and inviting people to kind of beta builds, so that might be a good way to kind of stay in the know about things like that. But
what's the most number of people that you can have in a room through VR? Well, and then eventually, obviously, through video as well.
Yeah, so right now you can host up to 30 people in this room, and about 20 people from the web app. And with our performance upgrades, we'll know more about how many additional people we'll be able to support on top of that.
So when you say 20 people in the web app, so that's 30 people via VR and 20 people via the web app. But at the moment, only one of them can be on video at a time.
Correct. So 30 people in the room, and then if you look up on the wall, all of the participant bar, the 6 people on the right there joining from the web app, you can have up to 20 people there. And yes, only one person can share a video, but that will be changing. All right, Bree, it looks like we have some notes up there. Do you want? I probably need to read them. I don't think you can see them, correct?
Yeah, I could grab my headset and jump in.
That's okay. This is kind of fun. I love teaming up like this. Bree is in her headset, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 hours sometimes. So
yeah, a lot.
Totally
so I'll start from the web app.
Feel free to take a break. It's a holiday anyways, so I got you covered in here.
So the mirror only shows me to me.
Correct. All right.
Right.
So let's see. So the first one we have proof of concept connecting innovation centers. That's how somebody's currently using Spatial. We have the YMCA in the house. Woohoo! Fantastic. Paisley, do you want to talk a little bit about what you're up to?
Yes, so because of the social distancing in Scotland, what's happening is the school education system, you can't have anybody closer than 2 meters. And that's having a major impact on the amount of young people that you can educate in one room. So we have about 30 Oculus Quest, and then social distancing is then not an issue. So we've been teaching young people how to do collaborative projects that would normally do in the classroom in a space like this. So I've created a makerspace room on Spatial, and we've used some of the assets and features that you have as part of that. And what we're looking to do now is with YMCA America, they've had to furlough 75% of their staff because mostly all gyms and things like that in the States. So they're now looking to see how they can develop the YMCA youth work back in the States. And part of that is going to be looking at virtual international connections. So there's no, I can, work with the YMCA in Australia, the YMCA in Japan, on particular projects in a space like this where it wouldn't be possible before.
And,
That's amazing. I love that.
And how old are the students, and what kind of things are you teaching them?
The students are ages 13 up to about 24. And the type of content that we're teaching them is we're a digital youth organisation anyway. We've got a maker space with laser cutters and 3D printers and things like that. So what we're currently doing is, using it as a project planning platform and communication platform for our staff.
Okay, amazing.
Awesome. That's really cool.
All right. Okay. We totally want to watch. I'd love to see one of your sessions. If you have a session, and Bree and I would love to check it out. I mean, we're really interested in how people are using this and adapting it, and we really want to be able to support you all and provide the features that you need. And this is actually one of the things that helps us, is just hearing from you all. So that's super exciting. And I actually used to work at the Y, so I'm a big fan of what the Y is doing across the world. So, all right, Bree.
Yeah,
so
I spend a lot of my childhood
YMCA Go. I love it. All right, so somebody posted Disney Innovation Masterclasses. So that's the next one, Bree.
Amazing. I'd love to hear how you're running those classes, about what topics. And I don't think we got to meet you yet. So if you want to,
that's not a currently one. That's it. It's more of a how we're thinking of using it. Not currently doing it yet.
Okay, well,
I've moved it across. I didn't realize there's a categorization system.
Also,
I got distracted.
I'd love to hear about what you're doing.
So I am working with the former head of innovation and creativity for Disney, and he now travels the world and does sort of innovation masterclasses and the like for, one of the companies we're pitching is Pepsi. So we've been doing those in sort of a more normal sort of webinar type format, and it's going really well, and we're getting fantastic feedback with the engagement and everything, because we've basically made them as interactive as possible. But we've started playing with VR because we know that this is the way that it's going, and that we need to stay ahead of the curve and keep it as fun as possible for people to participate. And I definitely see using VR as a way that we can, put a whole bunch. That's why I was asking about the room limits, because if we can bring a whole cohort of people into a room to do an innovation masterclass where they're all in their own homes, but they feel like they're in a room together, it makes a huge difference to how people feel about the session and the practical engagement, being able to use, a virtual whiteboard type thing, where I love that you've got the 3D pen. I don't know how easy it is to draw words with the pen. I'm going to play with it. And the Post-its and everything are things that we would definitely make use of. How did you make the vote notes? Someone did ones with circles on them.
Those are images uploaded.
Pardon?
The little dots, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you can upload a lot of types of images, just because we can upload like JPEGs, PNGs, MP4s,
right.
different types of files. And then is that me echoing or someone else? Okay. So you'll be able to soon draw with a marker onto these notes. So if you'd rather draw, write your name instead of having to type your name, you'll be able to do that soon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's just playing with it to see how we can make these things as an engaging experience as possible, because it's all about the learning. It's all about about having making it interactive and making it something that people can participate in.
Yep, I would be happy to jump into like one of your rooms that you're planning on bringing people into and giving some tips if that would be something that would be helpful too.
Yeah, it could well be. Could well be.
Yeah, so we can follow up on that later, but that's really awesome.
All right. Does anyone else have a note that they've posted of how you're currently using Spatial? I see like maybe a note that got pushed through the wall, so let me check behind it. And the person who wrote proof of concept connecting innovation centers and executive education, those are the next two, Bree. Sorry, you guys, I think if as people are bringing in sorry, the performance is slowing down a little bit. So if
okay, here, let me turn my video off.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. That'll work. Okay.
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 So it looks like someone's trying to resize their node and resizing the board, which is fine. It can be a little tricky to get the hang of.
I'm sorry, Ray, it's me. I'm trying to figure out how to resize the note with my hands, but it doesn't work. So
if you guys hover over one of these images, you'll notice that where you can see the little X, you can also see a pin icon. So that's really key in making sure that you're moving the thing you want to be moving. So if you want something to stay still, you're going to want to hit that pin, and then you won't be able to move it around. But if you unpin it, then you can move it around. So
yeah.
Then let's see, where were we? Who wants
Maria,
to
have a
explain?
question?
Yes.
Yes, I want to know how intensive is Spatial on the internet bandwidth. We are intending to use it here in Haiti, where our infrastructure are not as efficient as yours. And I'm currently in Haiti, and it's working very well. But how intensive is it on the bandwidth?
So I mean, I've run Spatial on a HoloLens 2 off of a hotspot on my phone, so it's not terribly intensive. But if you have no Wi-Fi or very, very little ability to get onto a hotspot, it's like anything else. You'll start to have hotspots.
So it's not really that much more intensive than using Zoom, for example. Would you say that?
Yeah, I would say that you have to have. It's probably on par with trying to run a big Zoom call.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, Bree, we have a few more notes about how people are thinking about using Spatial. There's a couple on construction planning, teaching language, connecting multiple locations for a tech summit, teach VR to the underserved population in Haiti, and executive training. And this one, let's see. I'm just going to read them all to you. Developing apps once there's an API. And the last one, hosting a mission model workshop.
Wow, those are all so many different and awesome ways to use Spatial. Do you guys want to just, let's just choose one, and if you guys want to talk about it a little bit, what do you think?
That sounds great. Does anyone want to share some, you're thinking about how you're planning to use Spatial? Andrew's causing trouble over here. He brought an entire dinosaur into the room.
Sorry, I'll make him little again. It's fine. I'll stop playing.
You know what?
He'll only eat you a little bit.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, stop, please.
Sorry, this is what happens when you let the Disney people in.
This is amazing. We're so glad you're bringing some light humor to the meeting. It's fantastic. All right.
What Mattel is one of our was our first customer, and we still meet with them regularly. And there's lots of play with 3D model toys. It's very entertaining. So I appreciate it.
All right. So looks like there's a couple people who are thinking about planning construction projects. If you're still in the room, do you guys want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, hi. This is Shell. And Aaron, you'd probably know my company. Here in San Francisco, I work for WebCore.
Oh, of course.
We're building all over the city. We already produce construction models in 3D, but getting people together from the owner, the developer, the architect, people who are all in different buildings, sometimes in different states, to be able to pull a 3D model in and have a conversation and do some planning would be remarkable.
That's awesome. So I can definitely speak a little bit to how you could do that in Spatial. In a former life, I worked at a specifically AEC VR company. So there's definitely a lot of tools that are, targeted specifically towards that industry. And so even though Spatial is, really a blank canvas, so much so that we really touch to every industry. The way that a lot of people in this AEC space have been using Spatial is bringing in their models, and something that you can do is you can put room by room at room scale and walk around them that way. You can also make them small and look at them in a dollhouse view. You could put them in a bunch of them in dollhouse view and walk around different options, pin them, take notes on them with your scribble marker. We work with BNP Paribas Real Estate in this way, where they'll bring in even landscapes of a terrain that they're planning to potentially do construction on, and they're looking at they have information about the investments and finances that they put on the wall, as well as using these notes to do project planning. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with, I'm forgetting the exact term, but the types of boards that in the space you would put different colored sticky notes, and you'd move them as the project goes along and prioritizing.
Kanban.
Does this